So here's my thoughts on how a person should choose gear. Sort of like choosing a person or a mate. It may start with what they look like, how they treat you. But for me, when I'm looking for a friend, I want to find someone that allows me to be totally me. I don't have to change to be your friend. Someone that you listen to, and I can listen to you, and you accept me for who I am. When I'm looking for gear, I'm looking for exactly that. So when I'm on stage playing, if I don't have to keep turning around and making adjustments, it's like if I forget the gear's there, it's perfect. And I can remember the first time, I know it's going to sound like a Harkey commercial, and maybe it is, but when I first used it, many, many years ago, I was on tour with SMV, and Harkey provided me with gear, and it was effortless. I didn't have to keep turning around and making adjustments, and it didn't pull me away from the music. So I'm looking for gear, whether it's an instrument, whether it's speakers, that I forget is there. In the same way when I'm talking, I'm not thinking about the instrument. I'm not thinking about what clothes I'm wearing unless I'm uncomfortable. So I want gear that's going to keep me in the music and amplify what's in my head so that you can hear it. When it's doing that, that's the right gear. So in other words, find gear that you can forget about. Having a low B, I think, helps if there is a 15, if there is a bigger cabinet. But the 10s can do it also. At this point now, it may depend on the volume we're playing at, because the 10s can push some lows. And I love the sound of the 10. Sometimes I'll put the 10 on the bottom, put the 15 up top for whatever reason, for a different sound. But it depends on the place and the volume. But of course, the bigger the speaker, the more bass you're going to get. And I think the 15 does help with a low B. But that's going to be up to the musician. One thing to remember as bassists, a low E takes almost 30 feet to make a full wave, to make its full curve, up and down. It's 27 point something feet, I believe. So when we're standing in front of the cabinet, we're not really hearing what it's doing. So at some point, get away from it. During sound check, get a long cable, stand out there, and you'll find out, wow, it's bigger than I thought. So a lot of the times we're too loud and don't know it because the fundamental wave is not developed by the time it reaches our ear. So that's going to help you decide how much bass you need. And the room will make a difference because the room is like a big amplifier also. So you just have to do some experimenting with your bass, your speaker cabinet, and see what works for you. I will sometimes turn off a cabinet, even though I will still have it on stage because I like whatever I'm listening to, I like it up by my head. Guitar players like to have their amps hitting their knees. That's why they're always so loud, right? But their knees, when they're standing on stage, is right at the audience's head level. So it's blowing them out and the guitarist doesn't know it. I don't want to do that. So even if I'm not using the 15, I usually have it up, the 10s up on something. But yes, the room will determine what you need, and hopefully you have a good sound man that will give you an honest view of what's really going on. When I play with Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, in many cases, I'm right next to Howard Levy, who's playing an acoustic piano. So my rig will be going into the piano mics. So I have to be aware of how much sound I'm putting out, how much low end is getting underneath that piano, and I have to trust my sound guy. And if he says it's too much bottom end, I'll turn it down because I want the people to have a better sound, even than I might even have. So the main thing is just knowing what the room is asking for and having the gear that can provide that. Hello everyone, it's Victor Wooten, and I'm asking you to check out Harkey Amps, and you can do it right here at AmericanMusical.com.